Hello, I'm Vashti Hardy, the author of BrightStorm, DarkWhispers and WildSpark, and I'm going to tell you a little bit today about the BrightStorm adventures. So I'm going to pop WildSpark down for a second because that's set in a whole different world to these two books, and BrightStorm and DarkWhispers are set in the world of the Wide. And the Wide is a little bit like Planet Earth, but a lot different as well. There are different creatures, different technology, different inventions, and lots of places in the world of the Wide that have yet to be explored and discovered. So it's a world of adventure and exploration. The explorers in this world are a little bit like the celebrities of their world. As you can see, there are sky ships. People that are explorers tend to get around in sky ships rather than sea ships. So there's lots of different adventures and characters that are explorers for you to meet. BrightStorm is the first in the series and DarkWhispers is the sequel. You could read them separately if you wanted to, but I would start with BrightStorm if I were you, because it sets the scene nicely. Even though this is a separate complete adventure, it kind of continues elements of the story, and you find out new things, and there's some secrets in this book that are quite good to find out first. So BrightStorm is based on two characters, Arthur and Maudie Brightstorm, who are twins, who live in this world of the Wide in a city called Longtown. And Arthur and Maudie's dad was an explorer. Sadly, at the beginning of the book, they find out he's lost his life trying to get to somewhere called the South Polaris, which is a bit like our South Pole, but it's their version in their world. They're told a story of what's happened to him, and they don't believe it. Something isn't ringing true, but nobody will listen to them. So they decide the only thing they can do is to follow in his footsteps and find out the truth for themselves. So they sign up for an expedition on a skyship, the Aurora. There's a big secret to do with this skyship, which you'll discover when you read it. And they sign up for the adventure and follow in his footsteps to see if they can find out the truth of what's happened. And along the journey, you'll meet lots of interesting creatures and different environments, different characters as you journey to the frozen south. So that's the world of BrightStorm. So it's a bit of a mystery, bit of fantasy, adventure story, some giggles along the way, and some moments when you'll be biting your nails as well. So that's the world of BrightStorm, the first story. Now, DarkWhispers, there we are, get it the right way around, continues the story of Arthur and Maudie, and they're going on a new adventure this time to somewhere called the Stella Oceanus. So these are islands to the east of their home of Longtown. You can probably tell from the cover they're not going anywhere frozen this time. They're going to the jungly rainforest area of their world, and there are some interesting creatures, the DarkWhispers, for you to discover. Oh, something about this world, there are animals that are known as sapient animals in the world of the BrightStorm adventures. Now, sapient animals are very much like animals you'd find on Earth, except they are super intelligent, often more intelligent than the humans are. So in the world of BrightStorm, you will meet something called thought wolves who live in the frozen south. And thought wolves communicate through their thoughts to each other and to children as well. So if they want to tell you something, they can send signals straight into your brain and speak to you in that way. They're supersized. They're not like usual wolves. They're giant wolves that will sometimes let you ride on their backs to get places very quickly if you want to. So that's the world of kind of the creatures of BrightStorm. Now, in DarkWhispers, there are some different sapient creatures, a little bit different and more mysterious to discover. Now, I thought I would read you a little bit of DarkWhispers to give you a taste of what to expect from these creatures. Now, to set the scene, Arthur Brightstorm, one of the twins, is below deck of the skyship the Aurora, and he's hiding underneath in like a secret space, but he can see up through the little gaps in the floorboards, and he's looking at something that's going on above. A strange whispering sound filled the air, a soft, hushed murmur. What are they? I can't see. They're everywhere. Look, did you see the size of their claws? There was the shriek of wind as though something sliced through it at great speed. Arthur pressed his eye to the gap where he could see a narrow section of the scene above. A dark shape circled them, too fast to see. Heads whipped around in all directions, searching frantically. There's something out there. Then he saw it again. Then another, and another. Some sort of flying creatures circled them, their wings slapping through the air like sodden leather. It was too difficult to see in the thick gloom of cloud, but they were getting closer. 3. No, 5. No. There were at least 10. Get below deck, someone yelled. They all ran for the hatch. So that gives you a little taster of what the mysterious dark whisper creatures are, and you'll have to read to find out more about them. There are lots of inventions in there as well, so you can see from the back of the book there's some strange houses in this rainforest environment that you're going to travel to. I thought I'd give you some fantasy writing tips so that if you want to enter the writing competition, then these elements might help you, because even if you're writing about something set in the real world or elements of the real world, you can add in fantasy bits or change things to make it a fantasy story. So here are my tips for creating fantasy worlds and writing in general. So I've got 3 big tips for you today. The first one is to use your passions to start as a starting point for your writing. I think you always write your very best stories and you have your very best ideas when you use things that you absolutely love naturally in real life. So, for example, for me with BrightStorm and DarkWhispers, it comes from my love of real life explorers and adventurers from planet Earth. So I have this book called A Teacup in a Storm that's all about explorers and adventurers, and it's got lots of real life facts. Now in there I saw an advert, I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it now. Oh, I can't see it. Here we are. Sorry about that. Men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant journey, safe return, doubtful, honour and recognition in case of success. And that advert was said to be placed by Ernest Shackleton in 1914. Now, when I was reading up on explorers, because I'm interested by it, I saw that advert and I thought, what a brilliant call to adventure. What would make 2 children answer an advert like that? So I took that advert and I used it in the world of BrightStorm. And in fact, when you read BrightStorm, you'll kind of see that I take that advert and make it my own as part of the story. So you could take an advert or something like that and use it as a story start. So I love explorers. I created a world based on explorers and exploration, but my only fantasy world. So how about take something that you love and add fantasy elements to it? So say your passion is football. So you're crazy about football. How about take football and add a fantasy element to it? Mix it with magic. Mix it with unicorns. Mix it with space. Something else. And then suddenly you've got something based on something you like in real world and something that's a fantasy element, and bingo, you've got a whole world and a whole idea. So you could try doing that. You can add different creatures, different inventions. So for example, I love wolves in real life. With BrightStorm and the Thought Wolves, I thought, what could I do to change wolves? If I was inventing my own wolf, what could I do? And I came up with the idea of them communicating through thought, and being a different size and things like that. So you might like to think to yourself, if I could get to school in any way possible, how might I get there? Maybe it would be by dragon. Maybe it would be by skyship, like BrightStorm. Maybe it would be, I don't know, on some sort of magical time travelling train or something. But you can take these things and let your imagination go completely free and wild. So that's my first tip, is take something you love in real life, mix it with some magical fantasy inventive elements. Two, my second tip to you is to draw a map. Now, I often draw a map before I've even written any words at all. I'm going to show you one of the maps that I drew this is for Dark Whispers. Hopefully you can see that there. So I have a big sketchbook and I start having fun with it, drawing places, and it starts to become real in my imagination. So try drawing a map of the place that you're writing about. You can then go on to write on the difficulties or draw on the things that are going to go wrong for your characters, because you need exciting things to happen on your adventure. So drawing them can help you work out all the things that are going to go wrong and how your characters might use their tenacity and their bravery and boldness to get over these different obstacles. So draw a map is a really fun way of starting and working out your world and your plot. And number three, my final tip to you is to use something like Pinterest to help you come up with ideas. If you've got quite a visual imagination like me, I use pictures an awful lot to help me imagine things and to help me with my description. So there's this thing called Pinterest. You can ask whoever you live with maybe to show you, or a teacher. And if you go into Pinterest, you can search BrightStorm or Dark Whispers and my name, and you should be able to see all the pictures that I use to help inspire my worlds and to help me build the places within it and to imagine what things could be like. So you could create your own Pinterest boards with different pictures on that you save to help inspire you, and then you could even put the pictures alongside you when you're writing, print them out or have them on a laptop or computer and have them next to you when you're writing to help you build your fantasy worlds. So there's three tips for you to recap. Use your passions. Number 2, draw a map. Number 3, use pictures to help inspire you as well. So good luck if you're writing stories. Don't wait for next year for the competition. Start writing it now. Get ready, prepare, and have fun with it and experiment. And happy writing, all of you. Take care. Bye.